just playing around it.
Thoughts, San?
Yeah, I think they can run the mass melee composition if they want to. Their mechanics looked like they were pretty decent. That wasn't the problem, but they have to ban the Cassia if they're doing that kind of composition. You have to identify what hard counters your draft, and you have to remove it.
All right, let's get into the draft for game number 2. And they are coming in thick and fast already. Dahaka going to be picked up to start things off for Soul Torturers.
Yeah, instantly into a noob and Greymane. Greymane, one of the best burst followers to follow up on a noob who is one of the best openers. So very good combo, very effective combo. And of course a noob, if he's on the other team, very good at holding down those cocktails if Greymane is throwing them in at you.
It's another battleground where it's possible we could later on see a Tempo Storm Cassia. Since 2.0, every draft they have had in HGC has featured that hero later on.
Okay. It's a very good point to make. What are we thinking for Soul Torturers here in the 2nd and 3rd spot?
Most of the power picks here are in play. We see the Uther ban, the Genji ban, a Nubrak, Greymane, Dahaka falling into place like you would expect them to. So one of the last power picks in place still is the Malfurion. Wonder if they're going to be going in that route here.
Tassadar is still open as well, and with Genji banned, the Valor actually becomes a little bit safer and a bit more of an attractive option. So they have the makings of the Holy Trinity, but they only would be able to pick 2 because in theory the 3rd one could get banned away. Instead, it's Zeratul and Malfurion.
Oh, I'm so happy to finally get to see Zola Zeratul. I think you guys will be in for a treat.
Just by chance, if Zeratul is distinctively the playmaker of this game, then we have set the trend over the course of many a year that Zeratul, in this matchup in particular, is the playmaker. Just saying. It's going to be...
Good
So
point.
first ban if these teams ever meet each other again, if it is the playmaker.
Well, we keep saying that year after year, but... All right, into the bans. What do we think?
For Tempo Storm, they have a pretty, carefree ban, I would say. They can ban whatever worries them right now. But on the side of Soul Torturers, I really want to see an Abathur ban. I think that's going to be their highest chance of success here. Not only is Abathur really good with the Greymane, giving the clone and also giving a global to, Tempo when they would otherwise have to go with Falstad. It also is really good against Zeratul. The Mines reveal Zeratul. It lets you know where he's rotating. So really hoping to see that Abathur ban.
Muradin getting the ban on out. What do you think of that?
I'm wondering if it's one or two things. The first could possibly be that they're trying to test Scroll a little bit. I think that Scroll's best hero for sure is Muradin. But I'm also wondering if this could maybe signify an Illidan for Som.
If they did want to go with the Abathur and it's not banned out, then they could go for the Abathur and the Illidan as well, along with a solid support with both with Rhaegar being left. That wouldn't be terrible for them. So I agree with both of you. An Abathur would be good, and if not, the Illidan's very attractive.
Yeah, that would be a pretty strong composition for sure. I mean, Muradin in general is just like an extremely strong tank. I personally consider Anubrak and Muradin to be like the top 2 tanks in the meta right now. Anubrak kind of overshadowing Muradin a little bit, but he's still very strong with his avatar and insane life HP pool survivability.
Abathur comes out for the ban. You see, quite a bit on Cursed Hollow. Not as much lately because, it's by the by, but it's gone.
So we were talking about the Illidan earlier. Still available because Illidan is still available because Tassadar is still available. So that is that option with another support. Nubrax, the solo tank, like we mentioned, can have difficulties, but he's pretty tough if he's able to isolate the right people.
Yeah, I think they're going to go in one of 2 routes here for Tempo. Either they go in the Tassadar +1 composition, or they go with a Mage. And it looks like they're going with the Mage. So this is actually a really common composition that's standing out in this meta, where you draft a Nubrak, and then either Greymane or Tychus, and then a Mage. And what this composition can do is when you web wrap anyone, you launch a Cursed Bullet and a full leaving combo at the web wrap right when it expires, and usually you can just 100-0 whoever comes out of it. So it's a very strong setup.
Got to be careful of that. Are there any ways that you can think of to present to deal with that kind of strategy?
I mean, invulnerability is generally your best bet. Ethereal would be pretty good if you want to stop that 100-0 blow-up.
All right, what are we going to think for Soul Torturers over on that side, Tetra?
second tank would be nice. Dahaka's lovely. Can solo tank now if you take regen, but it's still not ideal, so you need something to hold down the line, and with Muradin banned out, like we said, we're going to be testing them a little bit, so would like to see something like that. Maybe a Johanna to attempt to deal with the Greymane, and someone who can still absorb those hits. Stitches might be reasonable if they think they can follow up, but there's still a lot of escape potential, and of course the Beetles from a noob. Varian also going to work. You said invulnerabilities. Why not Varian? Shield walls for days.
And another hero that gets stronger and stronger the later the game goes, hoping that they can get Lunar to start dealing that pivotal poison damage. Although she also is a great follow-up after a Void Prison 2 with Leaping Strike as a possibility. What is this last pick? Tempo Storm have left themselves very flexible based on the fact that they have Li Ming and they have 3 Li Ming players and multiple Greymane players too. So I love how they have crafted this out and they bring him in. Illidan it is.
Very well done indeed. That's coming on in. So what are they hoping to get done with this Illidan? Where is the pressure going to be for Illidan to apply, etc.?
I think they'll probably continue to run him as their split soak and then be able to hunt in possibly. That tends to be the trend from not only Tempo Storm, but Gale Force Esports too in North America. Any possibilities, Fan, you think that they would run it any differently than that?
Psalm does like Metamorphosis a lot more than me, but I don't know. I think they are going to go with the kind of map control Illidan where you just murk everything, pressure the side lanes, and then hunt in when you need to. That's probably the strongest form on Cursed Hollow at least, so I would expect to see that.
If you're the Illidan on the Tempo Storm side and you look at Soul Torturer's composition, what are you worried about there?
I think overall, Soul Torturers just has a better composition. They have a good team fight team this time. They have the Dahaka, so they have the stronger global as well. And if the Void Prison is on point, they can actually easily take team fights out. I like Soul Torturers' composition a lot better this game.
Okay. Let's go for predictions. We're starting off with Gillian, going all the way around.
I still believe that Tempo Storm is the stronger team here. # no bias, so I'm going to go for Tempo Storm.
Okay.
I'm really liking Soul Torturer's draft this time, but I'm still leaning towards Tempo Storm because I'm really concerned how well Soul Torturer will deal with the split push.
Fan?
Well, this is one of the times where it's like my brain tells me Tempo Storm, but you know, gotta do it for the rivalry. I like their draft a lot. I'm gonna go with Soul Torturers for this one.
All right, nice. I like it. We are about to get into game number 2. Let's see what you guys have been voting as well for out there. 53-47. Wow. Okay, that's very, very close.
It's jumping back up. Soul Torturers just went up quite a bit.
Oh, I like that it's interactive. I like that we get to see it fluctuate, and I also like that we got a 50-50 that one time. But anyway, we are going to be getting into this. It's game number 2 to see if Tempo Storm can round out for the 3 points as I send you over to Dread and Kaldor.
Game number 2 coming up now. We have the lead for Tempo Storm, but it looks like Fan, did he just abandon the sinking ship? Or?
I'm on the same ship, whether we're going up or down, I don't know, but I agree that the composition right now for Soul Torturers is going to be a terrifying one and very difficult for Tempo Storm to deal with.
Well, Tempo Storm, they have to prove that they can take 2 games. We have them to the left side with currently Juno Karazim, Kettle on Li Ming, Fury on the Anubarak, Cawthon on Greymane this time, and Psalm on the Illidan.
And in the red is going to be Soul Torturers down 1 game. Lolly is going to be on the Dahaka, Zola on Zeratul, Hikari on the Malfurion Scroll, playing Varian, and God Dog on the Lunara.
Now, let's not forget that, of course, for teams like Tempo Storm, for Soul Torturers, a lot of the tough opponents are later in the group stage now. So this is really where you're trying to get as many points as possible, and Tempo Storm has done a fantastic job thus far, not only taking their previous opponent from yesterday down with a 2-0, but now also netting the first win on Towers of Doom a bit earlier. If they can pull it off again against Soul Torturers, that would put them into a pretty comfortable spot in the group here, but the Taiwanese team has, of course, very, very different plans and is going to try and to make this at least a 1-1.
And you and I were talking about Soul Torturers and the roster of this team before it started, and we've been longtime Zola fanboys. This guy has competed for this region for such a long while and seems always to be the key player. And I am very happy to see him on such a high impact hero this game. I think it is really the best chances Soul Torture is going to have is when Zola's on a hyper carry.
Zola is absolutely amazing. I mean, he's this one guy. He's always that silent guy that is in the back there a little bit, but you can immediately tell he is the one that is the real threat here of the team. And he has plush penguins.
Yeah,
So
I honestly think that he keeps it in the penguin. Like, that's actually the energy right there. So I don't know if he needs to put it a little bit closer to the heart or, you know, whether or not he needs to put it on the backpack. Either way, Soul Torturers, they need to be on top of their game after that last one.
Solar's penguin or Quacknick's duck?
I'm going with Zola's penguin. Like, you know, Quack's my friend, but Zola is my, you know, I'm fanboy over that one.
Penguin also has more style. I mean, the guys are smoking.
All right, but as for the game, you know, we have seen a bit of a stall. No, you know, teams constantly looking for picks, but nobody netting anything yet. Tempo looking to get some pressure onto the front wall, just abusing their rotation advantage, but really netting too much.
What I like from Tempostorm, though, is that they are putting so much pressure onto that tower and even get the kill against it. So that's a tiny lead. Doesn't accumulate too much just yet, but it definitely gives them the earlier level 4 talent. And we are seeing way more aggression from Tempostorm than we did yesterday. Once again, just understanding the composition here. But of course, this is one of those games where one of the key heroes is going to be that Zeratul, and this is really where Zola can change the entire dynamic of the game.
And in order to stop Zola from changing the impact of changing the outcome of this game, Air Ally has been picked up there for June at level 4 in order to try and find the reveal, make sure Zeratul cannot get any flanks. It's you know, a talent we see typically against stealthies, but it's one that it pops up here and there. Figured guys at home might not understand why. Well, you know, why not Earth Ally this game? It's always about the stealthy.
Yeah, trying to make sure that you get that vision. On the other hand, Hikari is in a bit of trouble as we now have Sam going in with his Illidan, but immediately Skrull is there trying to help him out. The problem is that Malfurion was just way too far. He dies. Corthan also in trouble, but gets saved as June dives in on the Karazhan.
June not only just dived in to be able to get that heal and end up getting that pick, but more importantly, he wore the drag that would have secured that pick right onto Cattle. So very well done there by June, setting his team ahead.
Double kill as Tempostorm does not only take down Malfurion, but also eliminates Variant. And this is mostly because Soul Torturers was a little bit aggressive with the rotation. They're not really taking the safe path, but taking the direct way to the Tribute, and they got caught on the rotation, especially, of course, Malfurion here. Big problem for them in the early game.
I think what I would put that into is a very easy mistake to make. One that you shouldn't be making at this stage of the game, and Tempostorm proved why. But it is a very easy one to make into specifically Illidan compositions. Whenever you rotate, if you are not with a minimum of 2 to 3 people next to you, if he finds you, you're not gonna make it alone. It's like Zeratul. They can pick off those isolated ones, and Hikari is the best target. It was so convenient to find him isolated on his own.
Exactly. So, I mean, you don't only find a target, you find Malf.
Yeah, it's straight up just the kill target waiting to make the pick there. And it's really hard because Illidan's one of those heroes, normally when you're dying, running away is the smart choice. But with Illidan specifically, running to your team is the only choice. Otherwise, you will die. And so it changes the way you play, and already Soul Torturers, hopefully for the next Tribute, they have a very different approach to it than we saw in the first.
I mean, this was definitely a setback for Soul Torturers. There's already a bit of a trap set, this time not getting triggered. But Soul Torturers are behind experience, but they're not behind a talent. They are behind half a level. That's still something where you can catch up, but they need to be a bit more careful. Zola, solo, Cattle about to fall, but Lunara already died, and Cattle gets away.
And now Hikari not even being able to pick up that channel. What looked like a moment for Soul Torturers to pull ahead. Tempo was able to convert it. Hikari abusing that Elun's Grace to be able to delay June, but not for long as the members of Tempostorm seem to have their collapse.
At this point, you can't really delay this long enough. It's also, this is one of the games where Lunara is going to hate her life, because after 13, you can pick up the Greater Spell Shield. That is a big help, but even then, you have heroes like Greyman and Illidan jumping towards you. The problem really is that at this stage of the game, Lunara cannot really be alone and hope to get a rotation through. That's just not happening with so many heroes on the side of Tempostorm, targeting her and Malfurion specifically.
Yeah, it's just, both of them are the ones that it's like, even if they're together and they get caught with the Illidan by themselves, Illidan probably can take that 2v1. And if not, he can at least trade close enough to even that it is worth the commitment of resources. It's all about rotations. Even we saw it for that second Tribute. The minute he thought he saw a Malfurion or a Lunara, Psalm's like going forward and has scared a forced split, which eventually led to Tempo getting that Tribute. So now they have to change this here for the third, or we find ourselves with a Tempostorm curse.
And I'm really liking, by the way, how passive Cattle plays at the bot lane, because he doesn't know where Zeratul is. So there's definitely the communication. Guys, we haven't seen him in a while. Play careful. If you get picked here, that's a massive problem for us, especially since the Tribute is now spawning. And this is a bad Tribute for Soul Torch. Not only does it spawn towards the left side, towards Tempostorm, but Tempo just just got that 10. This is a curse tribute.
They did just get their 10, and we saw the hunt used by Psalm onto the very end, but with the beautiful protect there, they decide that is not something they want to commit to. They find themselves the curse. It just comes down to what do we see Tempo Storm pick up? They've got the global. Illidan will be able to get that hunt after sieging top for a couple of seconds here. And it's, do we see Tempo get that double fort? You know, typically the dream, the ideal situation for this first curse.
They are definitely starting to push this hard. Up to the top lane, we have Illidan going up against the Dehaka, and Illidan is just going to town on that fort here, and he is going to get it, whereas the rest of the team is still busy in the mid lane trying to get their second one. But they are currently being stopped by Hikari and Goddog, but now Melf is down as Tempo just makes that snap decision and explodes onto Malfurion.
The song comes out of nowhere with the hunt, and that is going to be a lot of hatred thrown onto Goddog. He goes down, Scroll drops a taunt, Void ends up hitting 4.
It's a great Void.
It is. It hit a lot of targets, but it pretty much solely decided that that is going to be, or not solely, excuse me, that it secured the deal that Varian died.
That's the Void that you want to have when you have a follow-up.
Yeah, very much so. And it's the one you want to do before that, you know, in the top right part, that weird bug where the number goes over your hero image. Yeah. You ideally want to do it when none of those exist, because it's a really hard bug to win fights with.
Yeah, this is, I don't know. Tempo is playing this really well. They have a 1.5 level lead right now. They took 2 of the forts down, a lot of pressure also towards the bot lane fort, and they are going to hit a very early level 13, which allows them to take even more control over the map. And with that pseudo-global that they have, Illidan again hunting, he's just all over the place. Yeah,
Fury ended up sniffing out Zola in transition and an immediate rotation coming out from Psalm. Tempo Storm not only finds a 7th kill of this game, but Soul Torture just doesn't have a single one.
Yeah, the problem really that Illidan with that pseudo-global is just all over the place. He gets the kill against Lunara earlier, they spot out, Zeratul dive in again, and now they have an easy chance to go for the boss. I like what Soul Torturers do though. They immediately realize that with Zeratul falling, the boss is going to be taken by Tempo Storm, and they try to get one up at the top. The problem is though, that Tempo plays perfectly here. They keep Illidan at the bottom, they have Hunt up again, and they go to the top to contest Soul Torturers, and this looks more and more as if Tempo Storm is even going to get a double boss.
So now the boss has been picked up, so Soul Torturers know they're on a timer. They know that. The taunt comes in, it goes on to June.
Nice.
June drops the palm, he gets it onto himself, but the root is there. June is down. That is a huge moment for Soul Torturers. What can they make happen here? Because the boss is still pressuring through bot.
Are you surprised though that they just let it leash? With Charism down, they could have tried to force the boss here. They have most of their heroics still up. They also had the taunt available here. The boss at the bot lane is going to get the fort either way. Are you surprised that they did not commit to the boss who was at this point at roughly 60% HP?
I don't, yeah, it's one of those things where it's, I can understand why not. Is it necessarily playing the game optimally? Maybe not, but I can really understand when you're in a situation where you saw your opponent capture the other boss and they're feigning that invade, the moment you end up getting that one pick, you kind of just go, that could have been game losing, and we didn't end up dropping it there. Take a breather, restore the game back to normal, and hopefully we have time to abuse your death timers. Again, maybe not optimal, but I can totally understand the decision from Soul Torturers.
I mean, there was still a talent down, so that's really the biggest advantage. Here, by the way, the Hun coming into play once again. Scroll getting caught on the map. Zola trying to help, goes in with a Void that, trying to get the kill, and they do. Illidan is dead. A 5 versus 4. Soul Torturers trying to capitalize on the Void Prison.
But not everybody is there. They get the root from Hikari and the Twilight Dream, but it didn't get anything. Look at Zola flanking, though. He wants this fight. He doesn't have the Void. Lance, he picks off Caterpillar. This guy, I told you, he is an absolute playmaker.
He gets the spike in and then dashes in for the kill. Great play here by Zola. Cocoon defensively used on the side of Tempo. Zola, oh my god, I mean, he died to the Illidan Hunt a bit earlier, but that play was just insane.
That was very well done for Soul Torturers, and we can't forget that that started out looking absolutely horrific. Again, for the same problem that has existed for the other 7 kills. Soul Torturers is never as a 5-man. The Illidan is just wreaking havoc. And yes, that fight did work out, but again, we can expect the same thing to be happening that we've seen so far. We really need Soul Torturers to finally clump, and they really can team fight.
Yeah, also, by the way, we've been talking about a potential greater spell shield. Screw that. Unfair advantage. No shame, no fear. They go in with the damage. Lunara, Ghost Dog here, just saying, no, boys, you can't kill us if we kill you first.
Soul Torturers. I am afraid that that last fight working out for them will convince them not to change what we've seen so far into this game, because I really do feel like if we don't see another miracle void to stop the initiation here, that it's very likely Tempo Storm furthers their advantage, even though right now Soul Torturers has converted the experience.
Exactly, they had an experience, and the impressive part is, think about the structural advantage on the side of Tempo Storm. They haven't lost a fort yet, which means even without taking a single fort down, Soul Torturers still took the lead in experience, and if they start taking team fights and maybe even get a curse, the structures that they will take down is going to even increase that lead that they already have.
Yeah, and now you see them closing in on that 16 talent tier. Dehaka getting rid of the wave up on top, but that is not enough. Tempo Storm, they really wanted to be able to get this channel pre-16. I'm amazed that Tempo's sticking around.
Illidan is still at the bottom, Dehaka at the top, 16 gonna hit soon. And they let it actually slide.
No, I mean, I'm going to be frank there. If you have an Elun's Grace Malfurion, there's no way that tribute should be captured without at least one invade when you are the team with the experience there. Soul Torturers, again, playing more safe because of fear, but they still are ahead. There's still a chance here. It's just much like Tempo, you know, playing safe as they can.
They were afraid of the hunt, I think. It must be that. I mean, once you have the vision, if that snap call comes in, if Dehaka is a bit too late, they're just saying, we still get enough. It doesn't matter to us too much if they get that tribute, give it up, and then just pressure top, pressure bottom, and try to get some structural damage in. Yeah,
it's just, again, they're afraid of the rotations and the Illidan, because it really has, Soulm has shown why you should fear that hunt, why you should fear the global.
But I absolutely agree with you. I really thought that Malfurion just zoning him out a bit, they grabbing 16 and then pressuring in immediately with Dehaka. Dehaka could have burrowed to the left side of Tempo Storm and tried to get that flank in. Now it's 16 versus 16. And, I mean, this is a tribute fight that you have to go for, but it's, again, even talents.
But now we're at the point in the game where everyone's clumping. Tempo Storm thrived when everyone was skirmishing left and right, but they've never won a full 5-on-5. Neither team has. So this is the first moment we get to see, can Tempo Storm still get the team fight? Because I feel like Soul Torturers, this is their moment. They can win these fights.
First taunt is in. Here comes the move towards Cattle. The palm is hitting June. Misclick by him, but not triggered anyways. We have also the Void Prison already being used as we have once again Lunara jumping in deep. Psalm is down. Illidan is dead. And now the Soul Torturers are on the hunt.
Beautiful cleanse coming out from June, allowing Fury to burrow over the wall, but the dot from Lunara, the unfair advantage. I'm going to say that's balanced because Fury lives.
Fury survives. God knows how. Great play here by Tempo, getting out of the situation after they lost Illidan. It looked really to me as if they would lose at least another 2 heroes.
Yeah, I very much thought that was going to be a worst-case scenario here for Tempo Storm, but exactly what I was talking about was shown in that fight. Tempo Storm wanted to win this game through skirmishing, through those picks, and they got the advantage, but that one beautiful counter momentum that let Soul Torturers catch up, their 5-on-5 team fight is impeccable.
And not only that, look what happened, exactly what we've been talking about earlier. The structures are down, and all of a sudden that experience lead that Soul Torturers built earlier has been increased by so much. They're nearly 2 levels ahead of their opponent, and they are heading strongly towards that level 20. They can even let the next tribute go if they want to get the talent advantage.
They know that they are on this boss 100%. We already saw Lunara end up getting the clear, but Zola started his own boss up in the top right. So Soul Torturers is looking for a trade, but they started this very, very late. Luckily, nobody on Tempo Storm ventured outward. Nobody is going to play any risky game here. It's just going to be a boss trade.
It's a boss trade, and Soul Torturer is just signaling here, okay, we do not really want to necessarily force that battle just yet because we only have 1 level until we hit 20. Of course, the bosses are both moving towards the keeps.
The bosses are moving towards both of the keeps here, and it comes down to the fact that Soul Torturers have a full advantage in either situation because they have the globals. They can decide with these what are strong bosses, but not necessarily, you know, game-ending bosses. You know, it's only going to be a 15. They're threatening those of keeps, really, only. And Soul Torturers having the global, they can decide, do we want to just, you know, drop somebody back, get a little bit of pressure? When do we want to commit to these fights?
That's exactly what I just talked about. They can let the tribute go, and they do. They see Tempo Storm there, and they're saying, boys, we have 19 right now. We can defend the boss here. Up at the top, we're going to get at least a bit of value. We're going to drop a tower or two as experience, and once we have 20, then we go for the fight.
That means, I think that was one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time in Heroes of the Storm, because that means more than just 20 advantage. We've seen a lot of maps where you give up the objective and you sacrifice it for the 20 and you wait, and that's going to be ideally what you're looking to essentially wipe your opponents and win the game. But why that's different for Cursed Hollow is actually because win conditions are very rare when it comes to the curse. And it's very rare when it comes, it's only bosses or full team fight wipes. So if you ensure that spike around the 20 and a late game curse, that actually becomes a flat out win condition.
Exactly.
And so, oh, it's
there
so
it is.
beautiful.
Look at the timing. Look at that timing here.
Oh my.
10 seconds for the tribute to spawn and nearly 20. Soak the waves here. Fight the fight, and Tempo Storm has to decide, do we face our opponent with the 20 and the curse, or do we fight them just simply with the 20 over the tribute?
And and again, if they had captured that tribute, we would not find ourselves with this beautiful 2-level difference between these teams because Tempo Storm had so much experience, they would have been able to soak. This
is the window. This is the time.
This is the time. If Soul Torturers is going to win this game, it very much is going to be around this keep, getting the pick, using that void to isolate and look to abuse the damage onto the core.
Tempo Storm got so much out of that Hunt Illidan early on, but now we have those 5-man fights and Soul Torturers with a 20 advantage. They're going in here. Keep in mind, Tempo Storm on game number 1, but Soul Torturers, they want to get a map win here, and they're moving towards the keep. They will get at least one. How much more can they get? That's the big question here.
It's gonna be a very safe play for Tempo Storm. One misstep is all it could take, especially around Zeratul and Varian. So much crowd control to set up plays. One keep is all that we've seen so far. Soul Torturers afraid to even move up to front walls, playing very, very passive in what we considered a potential game-ending window. So then, if they don't end the game here, the next step is going to be bosses. Tempo Storm captured their boss first.
Yeah, they're going to try to at least get a second keep, or at least poke a little bit. It's only 5 more seconds. They might not be able to get the keep. They have to move away. Sam is in a bit of trouble. They need to be really careful. Immediately for the hunt up to the top as Cocoon is being used. And Li Ming, some cover fire provided here from her, trying to make sure that no one on the side of the Soul Torch just jumps in.
Tempo Storm
this is so tense.
Is in a really bad position for how far ahead they were in the game. Because keep in mind, Tempo Storm hasn't gotten a kill for what, I mean, minimum last 10 minutes. They were 7-0 last time I complimented their kills. That hasn't changed. They're 7 kills, and now Soul Torturers has control. But what I was talking about, why I was so concerned who caught the first boss, there's a 10-second gap between bottom boss and top boss. That's the win condition for Soul Torturers. Curse is a win condition as well for Tempo Storm. So now we see that trade-off where eventually Soul Torturers has to respond to either a tribute or the boss, and Tempo might sacrifice it, pick up a boss, and all in for core.
And look how aggressive Soul Torturers is now with the position on the map. They are really trying to capitalize as much as they can on the level 20 talent. And the farther they can move in towards Tempo Storm, the better their position is to either go for boss or tribute once they are spawned on the map.
I love it. Anytime you can stay on your opponent's side of the map, if you choose a fight on their side of the map, it only increases the odds of winning the game. Suddenly what you needed 3-man wipe to end can become 1, especially with heroes like Lunara, that poison damage and Void Prison. Such a good core tool here. But Tempo grasping for 20 as they posture up around this mid-keep.
They stole the night camp to go for the keep here in the middle, but Tempo is soon going to hit 20. And they played really well. They played very defensively, but they only lost the keep to Curse and level 20 of their opponent. That's pretty impressive still.
Yeah, Soul Torturers, it was very safe as well. And Tempo Storm, though, they did exactly what they needed to remain into this game. It's all down to the bosses. 9 seconds before Tempo Storm's boss spawns, and 10 seconds before we see that, or 19, excuse me, for Soul Torturers.
Illidan with a nowhere to hide now.
There it is.
Full global here for him. Zola taking the camp, also the night camp taken in the meantime by the rest of the team. They're still splitting here, but the boss, as he said, it's up already. And we have a push at the bot lane, not too much though.
Talking about.
Tribute to the top, and Illidan can go for it.
Yeah, this is the exact situation I was talking about. Tempo Storm has a boss/tribute power play. They have the opportunity to say, like, which one do you want? We can get the opposite. He's capturing the Giants for now. He will eventually show. They now know it's a 4 versus 5. So what do they do?
Illidan shows top. He showed in the watchtower, and Dehaka is starting to move in. He can interrupt, but they're trying to go for the fight here. They're going for the fight.
That's a 4-man void. The setup is there. Hikari, he gets hunted. He doesn't have a Twilight Dream.
They go in, and he's trying to get hit. Hits the Twilight. The best Twilight ever for them here. It's a quad kill instantly. Everybody gets obliterated. The team fight won with Hikari going in, bolting behind them. hitting the Twilight, and that's the wipe and the victory for Soul Torturers in game number 2.
We said Zola is a monster, setting up his team left and right. Think about every key moment in that game. A Void to stop the gank onto the variant that led them to the momentum. That Colossal Void at the end in the W, like the picks, he's insane.
The ice block, he sees the hunt coming in, he hits the ice block.
Yeah.
Bolts behind them.
Tempo Storm straight up just got outplayed in that last fight. Beautiful here from Soul Torturers. And again, you know, we expected a new version of Tempo Storm to come into this tournament, and once again, Soul Torturers technically is keeping the scales dead even.
Did you see the hacker on the minimap? He sees Illidan moving through the watchtower, starts to move up, and then the call is being made. Solar says, I got the Void. Immediately the burrow into the bush. Everybody of Tempo tries to move back. 4-man Void. Malfurion gets hunted. That was the only play that they had. Ice block hits, bolts over. 4-man. Unbelievable.
It was near flawless. I don't have words, but hopefully our analyst does. My goodness. Guys, take it away.
That's right. In a world where Void Prison doesn't exist.
Every time.
Imagine that.
BlizzCon champions again.
2 years of Void Prisons against this team. Unbelievable. The moment had to have been decided by a Void Prison. Zeratul, Zola, making the plays. Brilliant stuff.
They may not have Baphomet, but they have Zola still, and
Yes.
that Void Prison, the way they were, Tempo was shepherded into the choke. Zola got the 5-man Void Prison. Sam did the best he could trying to stop Hikari from hitting Twilight Dream, but at that point with Bolt, there was just no way to stop what was coming. And we even up here were watching, we were like, no, oh man, freaking out.
Hands were, our faces were in our hands, basically. And Tetra, overall, I mean, even beyond the Void Prisons, Zola was still doing a lot of good control of where Illidan was in some of those lanes, constantly pestering him and pandering him when they were kind of split away from their team.
He was guarding him almost the entire time. Just like all of the one thing I said before this series before this game started is Soul Torturers had to step it up a bit, and every single one of them did. Zola guarding Illidan, perfect Void Prisms, the God tier God Deer in the form of God Dog, absolutely insane micro on that Lunara. Just they stepped it up, and well-deserved victory by them.
Very, very impressive stuff, Fan.
Yeah, really happy to see what they could do there. Early game, Zola was performing a little bit shaky, as was the whole Soul Torturers team, as that 7-0 lead for Tempo. And I thought that even with the better draft, they were not going to be able to do it because they were falling so far behind. But then they really stepped it up. You know, the rest of the game, Zola became MVP for sure. They had highlight reel wombos at the end there that just closed out the game instantly, so very impressive.
We did just see that fight, so I imagine you probably don't have that for our replay, but what do you have for us?
Yeah, so I have a replay here that I really just want to paint the storyline that even though, you know, the Soul Torturers, they played so well, if we could just pause right here. Even though they played so well, I think Tempo kind of beat themselves to some degree as well. So you can see here, first I want to focus on Caterpillar in top on the Li Ming here. So he gets a very beneficial trade actually. He hits 5 missiles onto the variant, gets him to half HP, and then he blinks on top of the variant. Now you would think that that's a really risky play, blinking on top of a variant that still has taunt, but what he knows is that he has June here. He should be able to instant hit the cleanse as soon as he gets taunted. But that's not what happens. He gets the full taunt, doesn't really get cleansed fast enough. And here in this section of the fight, Tempo is now losing. If we could just pause again right here. So this is a disconnect between, you know, the bottom half and the top half of Tempo. The bottom half is aggressing because they're winning the fight, but the top half is running away because they're losing. And this disconnect combined with the VP, like the problem is, this part of Tempo cannot fight anymore, and this part is stuck in the VP. So we can play the fight out, and you know, what started out as a really good trade from Li Ming ended up being really bad because the cleanse was not communicated fast enough. There was a misclick on the palm, and then Tempo could just not fight anymore, and half of their team was super aggressive because they thought they were winning.
Right, and that does result in our 1-1. Continuing on here, we are joined by God Dog as well as our translator. Hello, everybody. And I want to start off by asking game number 1. A very interesting composition coming out from Soul Torturers. What can you tell us about that composition going into that game?
首先，我们说一下，那第一局的时候，你们有比较有趣的阵，你们班选的英雄，那你可以说一下你们的战术第一场的时候是怎样的吗？
我们第一场的阵容就，因为我们在台湾就准备这个战术，就是想说在打 Temple Stone 或者是 E-Star 这种队伍拿出来，可是我们第一场拿的时候没有打到我们要的效果，就可能是上台太紧张，就没有发挥好这样。
This has been a strategy we have been practicing a lot in Taiwan, and this is kind of the trick we wanted to use against teams like E-Star or Temple Storm, but it didn't have the effect we wanted. I think it's because we had stage anxiety, and so we didn't perform so well.
Okay. Fan, do you have questions?
Yeah, so in game 1, Tempo Storm drafted Cassia, which I think is a very hard counter to Greymane Abathur compositions. Were they worried at all about that Cassia? Because picking their last pick, Medivh, it felt like their draft could not deal with that Cassia. Can you ask him what he thought about the draft in that stage?
那你看到Temple Storm 有选了卡西亚这个英雄嘛？那他是比较厉害对付阿巴斯跟狼人这个阵，你们的阵的。那你有没有担心卡西亚你们对付不来呢？
因为我们在团练的时候，其实很少看到队伍有用卡西亚这个角色。就是其实我们自己也知道卡西亚很好打狼人这种角色，只是因为我们团练都练这一套阵容，想说比赛上应该可以发挥跟团练一样好的效果，就拿了，也没有想那么多，也没有想到对面会拿卡西亚。
So in our scrims, we rarely face opponents that pick Cassia, so we were caught off guard. But we decided to stick to our strategy of using Greymane anyways because we didn't think so much. We just wanted to play our own strategy.
And in the second game, Tempo Storm was actually up pretty far ahead of you guys. They were up with a 7-0 lead. What did you feel in the game at that moment? Looked like you guys pulled the game back from that deficit, so it was pretty impressive. How are you feeling in the game?
那第二场的时候，早期的时候是 Temple Storm 这样是领先的嘛，他们杀你们7个人啊，你们连一个人头都没有杀到。那你是怎样？你感觉的时候是怎样的呢？
那时候我们人头数落后，就尽量避免不必要的失误，然后以德哈卡这个角色去带更多的经验。我们就前面的贡品就先不拿，然后让经验值打平，因为我们觉得我们等级相同的话就不会输会战。
Earlier when we had a really deficit in kills, so we decided, okay, let's try to minimize our mistakes from now on and let the Haka go and soak the lanes and get experience. So we decided to sacrifice some of the tributes. So we wait until we get on the same level and then we can get a good fight.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time and good job being able to take the map moving on forwards. We're going to check in with the groups now as we do have Group B still well underway here, and it will be at the moment Tempo Storm getting themselves 1 point from that. Likewise, Torturers also grabbing themselves 1 point, but Tempo Storm had already grabbed the 3 points from before, looking all right. And we will have more games coming in just a few moments' time here in Group B, with obviously 4 other teams still yet to play. But overall, that was a very interesting game number 2 there coming out. And as I say, it's always good to see the Void Prisons causing some... I was about to say causing some problems for North America, but then I felt like I was going to get attacked by you guys.
What gave you that impression?
So I instantly...
Keep pulling the heat off me.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that's true. But it was a good match nonetheless.
It was an awesome match, and frankly, I am very excited to see Soul Torturers get their first game win because I felt like we didn't fully get to see their potential in their last match, and finally we get to see that. Maybe that even alleviated some nerves for future matches.
And they most definitely deserved that victory off the back of Zola's fantastic plays, I feel.
Yeah, I feel like I'm getting a better idea of how each team is playing too. I'm pretty happy with my Soul Torture vote right there. Got that one and my E-Star ones.
All right.
But I just want to stress the importance of how this outcome is.
Yeah.
Tempo and Soul Tortures, both of them are potentially looking at that 4th place slot in the groups because the other 3 in their group right now are E-Star, Dignitas, and L5.
Yeah.
And those are heavy favorites against both teams at least public perception right now.
Yeah.
So the fact that they went 1-1, both teams have an equal shot at getting that 4th seed right now. So it's going to be really interesting to see how the group plays out.
All right, so thank you very much, guys, as we head to a break in just a few moments' time. But we will be back very, very soon here with more mid-season Brawl action as we continue things for HGC.